Welcome to this stitch of the month, and this month we have a crochet stitch for you, and it's the Celtic weave stitch. Here's a swatch of the stitch, and as you can see, the Celtic weave stitch is made up of interwoven front and back treble crochets, which creates this fun textured fabric. I've already made a start on the swatch. I used a foundation chain of 24 stitches and worked 2 rows with 22 double crochets. And I used a 5.5mm hook for the foundation chain and then switched to a 5mm hook to continue. Now the Celtic weave stitch itself is worked over groups of 4 stitches across the row, and I have 1 stitch on each edge. The edge stitches are worked as double crochets, and the rest of the stitches will be front or back post treble crochets, and I'm using US terminology throughout. At the end of row 2 I worked 1 turning chain, and for row 3 I begin with 1 double crochet in the first stitch. Now we come to our first group of 4 stitches. I'm going to skip the first 2 stitches, and then I'll work a front post treble crochet around the 3rd and 4th stitches. For a front post treble crochet, you wrap the yarn twice around the hook, insert the hook from front to back and right to left around the post of the stitch in the previous row, pull a loop up, yarn over, and pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through the final 2 loops on the hook. And that's the first front post treble crochet. Repeat this for the next stitch, so wrap your yarn twice, insert the hook around the post from the right to the left, pull up the loop and pull through 2 loops, and again and again. Now we need to work front post treble crochets around the 2 stitches that we skipped, and so for this we work around the front of the front post trebles we just crocheted. So yarn over twice, then insert your hook from right to left and front to back around the first skipped double crochet from the previous row. Pull the yarn through onto your hook and then pull through 2 loops each time to complete the stitch. Then we do the same with the next skipped stitch. So yarn over twice, bring your hook around the front of the first 2 front post trebles, insert to the back on the right side of the post and back to the front on the left side, pull the yarn through onto your hook and then pull through 2 loops each time to complete the treble. And that's the first crossover complete. So you first work the 2 underlying front post treble crochets, then you work the 2 overlying front post trebles. And we continue working like this across the row. So we skip 2 double crochets and then work front post trebles around the next 2 stitches. And then we work 2 front post trebles in the 2 skipped stitches. So working around the front of the stitches we've just crocheted. So this is the first double crochet we skipped. And this is the second double crochet that we skipped. Now on to the next group of 4 stitches, so skip the first 2 and then work front post treble crochets around the next 2 stitches. And then work front post treble crochets in the 2 stitches that we skipped. And that's the second one. And then move on to the next group of 4. And then we work front post trebles around the 2 stitches that we skipped. And here we have our final group of 4. And then we need front post treble crochets around the 2 stitches that we skipped. And then we work 1 double crochet in the last edge stitch. So remember, the only double crochets in each row are 1 at the beginning and 1 at the end. Chain 1 to turn. We begin with a double crochet. And then these 2 front post trebles lying across the front of our work, we want them to go straight upwards here along this side of our swatch. So we're going to work back post treble crochets around each of them. Now let's have a look at the front of our work. These 2 stitches here lie across the top of our work, and we now want to shift them to go to the back. And so that means those are the ones we will work around first, and we'll work back post treble crochets around them. And then we want to work around these 2 stitches that are a bit hidden here on the front of our work, and we want them to run up over the top of our fabric. So yarn over twice, bring your hook around the back of the back post trebles we've just crocheted, and insert from back to front and right to left around the post. And then out to the back again, and pull the yarn through onto your hook, and then complete the treble as usual. And there's the second one there, so let's repeat that. And work a back post treble crochet around that post. And that's a group of 4 complete. Now for the next. So we work back post treble crochets around these 2 overlying front post trebles from the previous row. That's 2. And now we work around the 2 front post trebles from the previous row that we skipped. So yarn over twice, insert from back to front around the post, and then finish off the treble. Here's the next skipped front post treble, so yarn over twice and work from back to front around the post for the back post treble crochet. Then we go on to the next group of 4, so we begin again with these 2 overlying front post trebles from the previous row. And then we work back post treble crochets around the 2 front post trebles we skipped from the previous row. We've now reached our final group of 4 stitches, so work back post trebles around the 2 overlying front post trebles from the previous row. Then around the 2 skipped stitches. And then, as we did at the beginning of the row, we want the last 2 stitches of this row to run straight upwards. So simply work 2 back post treble crochets around the last 2 front post trebles from the previous row. And then we end with 1 double crochet in the last stitch. And here you can clearly see how the pairs of stitches are interwoven with each other across the rows. And that goes both ways. And now we continue the pattern, starting with this pair and then this pair, and they'll cross over each other again. So I need to chain 1 here. And then I can turn my work, and I begin with 1 double crochet in the double crochet of the previous row. Then skip the first 2 back post treble crochets and work a front post treble around each of the next 2 stitches. Then work around the front of these 2 stitches you just crocheted and work a front post treble crochet around each of the 2 skipped stitches. And then you simply continue like this until the end of the row. So as you can see, it's an exciting stitch, a bit fiddly in places and sometimes tricky to find the stitch you need to work around. But once you get the hang of it, it's a wonderful stitch and produces a great textured fabric. So have fun with it!